Champion scoffs at Teen's holster, then she outsmarts the system and smashes the record. When the world trusted machines to be fair, they forgot one rule: people can still rig the game. Imagine a 15-year-old underdog slipping through the glare of 1,000,000 cameras, her heartbeat pounding in her ears as the electronic target lights blink for her. Every second is a countdown to exposure. What happens when the system built to measure truth becomes the very weapon of deception? Tonight, you're about to witness how one girl didn't just break records, she shattered the lies behind them. Stay with us, because by the end you'll see justice isn't programmed, it's won. If you believe truth can't be bought, hit subscribe now and tap the bell so you don't miss a single second of this exposé. Smash that like button if you're ready to see a teenager take down a rigged system in real time. Drop a comment below if you've ever felt underestimated, because tonight we turn every doubt into undeniable victory. She wakes before dawn, the Texas sun still a promise on the horizon. In the quiet of her bedroom, Maya Johnson slips her hands into worn leather gloves, each scuff a testament to hours spent perfecting her draw. Her fingers trace the outline of the custom holster at her hip, handcrafted by her father, a former champion, whose glory days ended in whispers of too young, too inexperienced. Today, those whispers are her fuel. The convention center in Dallas hums with anticipation. A sea of faces, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, crowds the stands, their eyes fixed on the scoreboard hovering above the firing line. Television cameras swivel like silent hawks, broadcasting to millions. Neon banners advertise the Whitaker Arms sponsorship, their pristine logos in stark contrast to the battle-scarred leather grips Maya cradles. For her, this arena is more than a stage. It's a crucible of doubt and expectation. She steps onto polished concrete, the lights clicking on overhead. The air smells of gunpowder and adrenaline. At precisely 8:00 a.m., the electronic targets flicker to life. A soft beep echoes her first heartbeat of the day. Around her, competitors adjust their stances, a hulking ex-Marine in fatigues, a corporate heir in designer boots, a rival from the Midwest with ice-blue eyes that never blink. None know the secret Maya carries. Last night, with the help of Sarah Carter, she cracked the code that rigs these machines. Every pulse of electricity in that system now bears her silent warning. Her coach, Tom Evans, a former TV reporter turned mentor, leans in, voice low. Remember, it's not just about speed. It's about owning every millisecond. He fingers his microphone pack, a faint static whispering through the channel. In his eyes, Maya sees trust, a rare currency in a world built on skepticism. She nods, feeling a tremor in her chest, equal parts fear and resolve. Behind the scenes, Colonel Brad Whitaker reviews his notes. He stands before a wall of screens, each displaying live feeds from hidden diagnostic cams. To him, Maya is an anomaly, an underdog, whose viral training videos threaten the brand he built. He remains confident. His company's engineers assured him the scoring algorithm is untouchable. But his confidence masks a flicker of unease. The announcer's voice booms. Competitors, take your positions. Maya's boots click into place on the numbered tile. The next beep reverberates louder, as if marking the countdown to war. Sweat beads at her hairline. She inhales the scent of oil and metal filling her lungs. Memories flash a childhood in her father's barn, the echo of shells hitting paper backdrops, his quiet smile when she first matched his speed. That memory steals her nerves. 3, 2, 1. The final beep sounds and thousands of eyes converge on her. She lifts her hand in one fluid motion, drawing the pistol. The world slows. Maya's thumb finds the safety, her trigger finger hovers. A bead of sweat rolls down her temple, catching the light. Then snap, the shot rings out. The target lights blaze, 10 rings glow bright. In exactly 0.52 seconds, Maya has matched the national record. Gasps ripple through the crowd. The hulking Marine lowers his head in disbelief. The corporate heir's smirk falters. Even Whitaker's expression cracks, a shadow passing over his carefully maintained facade. For a heartbeat, the world is still. Then the arena erupts, cheers, clicks of cameras, the roar of 1,000 voices. Maya's chest heaves, adrenaline coursing. She straightens, holstering her weapon with deliberate grace. Every near miss, every sneer she ever endured funnels into this moment of triumph. But there's no time to savor victory. As the scores flash on the big screen, Maya spies a flicker in the diagnostics that Tom pointed out, a delayed data packet milliseconds out of sync. Sarah's voice crackles through Maya's earpiece. They're already compensating, watch the next round. Maya's lips press into a thin line. This is more than speed, it's truth versus deception. She steps back, heart pounding. Around her, the other shooters prepare for round 2. The announcer continues, oblivious. Up next, our reigning champion. But the name he speaks isn't the one everyone remembers. It's hers. In that charged moment, Maya becomes more than a participant. She embodies every overlooked voice demanding to be heard. The neon lights flash, the cameras swivel, and the hum of the electronic targets rises again. Her gloves tighten. Her breath steadies. The world is watching, and she's about to show them that integrity isn't a feature to be programmed. It's a power to be unleashed. She steps up to the line for round 2, knowing every eye in the arena is still pinned on her first shot. The air thrums with anticipation, mingled cheers, hushed whispers, and the faint hum of malfunctioning circuitry deep in the target bank. Maya's heart hammers against her ribs like a war drum, each beat a reminder that the system meant to protect fairness is now her greatest adversary. Across the line, her rivals smirk and shift their stances. The hulking ex-Marine cracks his knuckles, chest rising in contempt. The corporate heir adjusts his designer boots and sneers, relying on money and influence instead of muscle memory. Even the Midwest shooter tightens her grip, eyes narrowing, as if to say, not on my watch. Yet none of them know what Maya discovered in the dead of night, hidden diagnostic logs showing manipulated timing windows, each data packet delayed just enough to throw her and any outsider off their rhythm. Sarah Carter's voice echoes softly in her earpiece. Their algorithm compensates mid-round. Watch packet error Alpha 2. Maya inhales sharply, tasting metal and sweat. Her gloves feel impossibly heavy, but she focuses on a single point 6 feet ahead, the neon ring on target bay 12. It glows in perfect sync until the moment it doesn't. That tiny flicker, undetectable to the untrained eye, is her signal. The announcer's voice booms oblivious. Firing in 3, 2, 1. A staccato beep cuts through the tension, Maya's personal metronome. Her finger almost hesitates at the trigger, but she remembers Tom's words, own every millisecond. She squeezes. The shot cracks like a thunderclap. The crowd flinches. But the lights on the target hesitate, flicker, register 9 rings instead of 10. A collective gasp ripples through the stands. Maya freezes, mind racing. The algorithm is already compensating. She's been baited. Anger courses through her veins, hotter than adrenaline. Her vision narrows. Everything outside her target fades to a dull hum. Behind her, the camera drones hover lower, capturing the storm in her eyes. She glances up at the big screen, which stubbornly displays 9.3, 0.53 seconds. She tastes bile. Whitaker's smug grin flashes in her memory as he dismissed her in the morning briefing. Data doesn't lie, kid. Better luck next time. He believed the code was bulletproof. He thought no one knew the back door. Sarah's whisper cracks the bubble of Maya's fury. Remember, disrupt, then reset. You can override the sync on shot 3. Maya exhales, her lungs burning. She steadies herself against the echo of the shot and steps back. Around her, the ex-Marine slaps her shoulder, muttering, tough break, kid. She doesn't flinch. Every patronizing pat is another layer of injustice to dismantle. Meanwhile, backstage, Colonel Whitaker monitors the feed arms folded. A bead of sweat snakes down his temple as the live telemetry graph skips a beat. He dismisses it, waving off his engineer, but his jaw tightens. He knows better than anyone that his reputation and his contracts depend on an unbeatable champion. Maya resets her stance for shot 3. She closes her eyes, recalling bedtime practice in her father's barn, the dull echo of shells on burlap, her father's calm voice counting down in his soft drawl. 1, 2, 3. She remembers how his hand would steady on her shoulder. Now that voice lives in her head again, but this time she's alone. She opens her eyes, narrows her focus, and inhales. Each breath is deliberate, 2 counts in, 1 count out. She feels the holster press against her thigh, the grip of her pistol firm in her palm. She aligns her sight, each flicker of LED becoming a beacon of truth, waiting to be unveiled. Firing in 3, 2, 1. The beep comes faster this time, like a rapid heartbeat. Maya draws. The world slows. Her finger finds the trigger with laser precision. Boom. The second shot lands, registering 10.0 in 0.48 seconds. The screen lights up 10.0. 0. 48s. A roar builds, swelling like a tidal wave. But the diagnostic overlay flashes red override attempt detected. The field engineer behind Whitaker's desk leaps to his feet, frantically dialing. Whitaker's facade cracks. He realizes his engineer missed the backdoor Maya and Sarah exploited. His brand-new algorithm is compromised in real-time, broadcast live to millions. On the arena floor, Maya hears the whisper of commotion around her rival shooters stiffen. Coaches murmur. She doesn't wait for the applause. She lifts her mic. For the first time, everyone saw that her voice is calm, but ice-cold beneath the surface. The crowd hushes, leaning in. This system was rigged. Someone's been playing puppet master with the data. Flashbulbs erupt as cameras pivot to Whitaker, who gropes for a response. His eyes dart across screens, showing code dumps, timestamps, packet logs. That's impossible, he stammers. Our system. Maya interrupts, voice rising. Pull the logs from last night. Open the source code. Expose the lines where they skewed the timing windows. You built this fortress, now tear down your own walls. A tense silence settles. Then Sarah's feed appears on the big screen, lines of code scrolling, rapidly highlighted segments showing deliberate delays on Maya's shot packets. The audience erupts. Whitaker's engineer sinks into his chair, face pale. Now the ex-Marine steps forward, offering Maya a firm nod of respect. The corporate heir stands rooted to the spot, jaw agape. Even the Midwest shooter decks her gun quietly, eyes bright with newfound respect. Whitaker stammers, voice cracking. This is sabotage. But his words ring hollow. He's been caught. Maya lowers her pistol and looks into the camera, gaze unwavering. Real champions don't need shortcuts. The uproar surges. The announcer, voice shaking, declares, Ladies and gentlemen, you've just witnessed not only a world record speed draw, but the unmasking of a manipulated competition. We'll be right back after a short break. As the cameras pan across the stunned crowd, Maya steps off the line. Adrenaline still pulses, but a calm satisfaction settles in her chest. She gave them more than a victory. She gave them the truth. And in that moment of exposed deceit, every cheer, every gasp, every flash of a camera solidifies her triumph. Behind the curtain, her earpiece buzzes. You did it. Now let them decide. Maya inhales deeply, tasting the electric charge of justice fulfilled. The stage is set for the final act, but for now the conflict has peaked, and the world is watching. The moment Maya's second shot lit up the arena, something inside her shifted. She felt the weight of every doubted word, every sneer, and every rigged data packet crash into a fierce resolve. This wasn't just about speed anymore. It was about exposing the rot at the heart of the competition. As the crowd's roar faded into the background, Maya slipped behind the barricade where Sarah Carter waited, their eyes locking in silent agreement. Sarah's voice was a low whisper in Maya's earpiece. You saw the code. You know what to do. Maya nodded, though no one could see. The soft glow of monitor screens behind Sarah cast dancing shadows across her determined face. Lines of compromised algorithm scrolled past each highlighted error, a spark in the tinderbox of their plan. Maya's pulse thrummed faster, not from nerves, but from purpose. She stepped back into the light, the arena floor suddenly feeling too bright, too loud. Her coach, Tom Evans, leaned in close, Stick to the plan. You have one shot to finish this. His words grounded her. She inhaled, tasting the mingled scents of gun oil and electric tension. Every fiber of her being pulsed with anticipation. The announcer's voice cut through the din. Final round, competitors, take your positions. It felt like a call to arms. Maya slid onto tile 14, heart-hammering. She watched Whitaker's face on the big screen, a mask of bravado cracking as the red override attempt detected flashed in the lower corner. He tried to regain composure, adjusting his cufflinks like a general rallying troops, but it was too late. The fortress he built was already breached. Sarah's next directive came swift, when the beep sounds draw. Then hit the hidden key on your holster gap timer override unlocks. You'll force the system to reset its own sync logs. Maya's eyes flicked to the holster's concealed switch, a secret her father and she had built weeks ago. It felt cold under her glove, a final lifeline thrown into the storm. Time slowed as the countdown began. 3, 2. She shut out the crowd, the lights, even her own pounding heart. All that mattered was the click of the beep. 1. The beep cracked like breaking glass. Maya's arm shot forward, draw, twist, click. The holster's switch slid. Boom. The report of her shot echoed through the hall, followed by a heartbeat of silence. Instantly, the arena's systems shuddered. Screens flickered, lights dimmed, then flash by, flash rebooted. The scoreboard blinked out, then came back emblazoned with new data 10.0, 0.466. But more importantly, a scrolling feed of raw logs appeared beneath it, unfiltered and live. Sarah's face filled half the screen, her triumphant whisper rippling into every home watching, "Here's the truth they tried to hide." Shock rolled across the crowd like a wave. The hulking Marine froze mid-breath. The corporate heir's smirk dissolved into disbelief. Whitaker's confident posture crumpled, his empire of influence unraveling in real time, exposed for the rigged charade it was. A ripple of gasps and murmurs swept through the stands. Maya stood tall, chest-heaving voice amplified through the arena speakers. You wanted a champion. Here she is with no loopholes, no shortcuts, only skill and integrity. Her words were calm, but steel ran through them. Cameras captured every nuance, the steady set of her jaw, the fire in her eyes. In that moment, she owned the narrative. Behind her, Sarah and Tom exchanged a brief, victorious nod. But Maya wasn't done. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a flash drive bearing her father's initials. Download this to every network you can, proof of tampering chain of command Whitaker's orders, she instructed through the mic. Let no one claim ignorance. The auditorium lights pulsed as technicians scrambled to comply, their hurried footsteps echoing like distant thunder. Whitaker stumbled forward onto the arena floor, face pale beneath his tan. He opened his mouth, but no words came. Around him, the engineers shifted uncomfortably, eyes downcast. The announcer's voice quivered. Folks, we're witnessing history, and not the kind anyone expected. Maya let the silence stretch, letting doubt weigh heavily on her adversary. Then she spoke again. Softer this time. Justice isn't a product you can brand. It's a force you earn. Her gaze pierced Whitaker's veneer of authority. In that glare lay every overlooked kid who ever dared to dream beyond the rules. Suddenly the lights dimmed and a hush fell, foreshadowing for the final act, the ultimate reveal. The raw logs scrolled to a signature line approved by Colonel B. Whitaker, 0214 a.m. There it was, his own name, branded in code. The crowd erupted into a frenzy of cheers and shouts, drowning out Whitaker's feeble protest. Maya holstered her weapon one last time, turning to face the audience. She raised her arms, not in triumph, but in defiance of every barrier she'd shattered. The cameras swung wide, catching the roar of approval that swept the arena like wildfire. As she stepped off the firing line, Maya felt a calm settle over her. The plan had worked. In a few moments, the world would see the full extent of the corruption. But for now, all she needed to know was that the turning point had arrived. The die was cast, and justice, her justice, was in motion. She raises her pistol once more, calibrated, balanced, and loaded with purpose. The arena's lights dim, isolating her in a spotlight that feels more like an interrogation lamp. Every eye, every camera, every microphone is trained on her. This is the moment the world has been waiting for, the final act of retribution in a rigged game. The announcer's voice crackles over the PA competitors' commence final firing sequence. But the roar of the crowd fades for Maya. In her ears, Sarah's whispered countdown is louder than any cheer. 3, 2, 1. At 1, she draws in one fluid motion. Her finger finds the hidden switch on her holster as her arm extends, the click barely perceptible. Boom! The shot reverberates, clean and precise. The electronic target explodes into illumination, 10 rings glowing bright, but then almost imperceptibly the lights glitch. A hush falls. For a split second, everyone believes it's a malfunction. Then the display resets itself, revealing not just the new score 10.0 in 0.46 seconds, but the cascading raw data logs scrolling beneath it. Line after line code spills across the screen packet, timestamps manipulated milliseconds, withheld algorithms rewritten. Murmurs ripple from the front row to the topmost balcony. The hulking ex-Marine narrows his eyes. The corporate heir leans forward, disbelieving. Even Whitaker's own flash team of engineers exchange anxious glances. Maya's heart hammers, but her face is calm, an island of control in a sea of chaos. She steps back and switches on her lapel mic voice, steady. What you're seeing isn't just a world record, it's evidence. She gestures toward the scrolling code. These logs prove the system was tampered with. Look at the timestamps: shot 1 delayed by 0.15 of a second, shot 2 by 20. Then watch how the override resets everything for this final shot. The audience leans in, their collective breath held. Cameras pan to Whitaker, whose perfectly tailored suit now seems like armor he can no longer wear. He opens his mouth, but the only sound is a faint buzzing from the speakers as the raw feed continues. Suddenly the feed switches. Sarah Carter's face appears in a corner of the big screen, her background a dimly lit control room lined with monitors. She taps a key, and her voice resonates through the arena. This isn't speculation. These are unaltered system cores extracted from Whitaker Arms' secure servers. Every line you see is his team's handiwork. A ripple of shock spreads. Whitaker's jaw clenches. He takes a tentative step forward, then stops. The announcer stammers, We have to verify, but the microphone cuts him off. Maya holds up a flash drive, shining it under the spotlights. And here's the master key, she says. My father gave it to me, his crowning design flaw in the very system he once helped build with Whitaker Arms. I promised him I'd use it only when truth demanded it. She pauses, letting the weight of that admission settle. The lights flicker again, and this time the scoreboard overlays a live feed graph of packet delays versus raw input speed. The contrast is undeniable, the green line tracing her flawless performance against the red spikes, marking every manipulated shot. A collective gasp rises. Whitaker's voice finally cuts through, strained. This is illegal hacking, but the crowd no longer cares about legality, they care about justice. Shouts of "expose him" and "you did it" echo through the arena. Maya lowers her pistol, holstering it decisively. She steps forward into the circle of light, every camera lens eager for her reaction. I didn't break into any system, I unlocked the truth. When the rules aren't applied equally, you don't bend to the game, you change it. Behind her, Tom Evans emerges, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. His face is a mix of pride and relief. Even he looks a little shocked by how flawlessly the plan unfolded. Suddenly, the audio feed splits. One channel carries Maya's voice, the other channels the whispers from the crowd. 1,000 voices chant her name in unison. The announcer, regaining composure, stumbles through the official declaration. By unanimous decision of this audience, and based on incontrovertible evidence, the competition is nullified. Colonel Whitaker's sponsorship is revoked, and Maya Johnson is hereby declared the new rightful champion. The arena erupts. Cameras flash like fireworks. Maya's chest heaves with emotion, adrenaline vindication relief. She glances at Whitaker, who sinks to his knees on the arena floor, head bowed in humiliation. Engineers gather around him, shielding their faces from the glaring lights. Maya turns back to the audience, voice rising above the tumult. This isn't just a win for me. It's a win for anyone who's ever been told the system is unbreakable. Systems can and must be held accountable. She steps off the firing line, walking through the cheering mass as if through a corridor of supporters. Hands reach out to touch her gloved forearm. Phones record her every move. She pauses at the edge of the stage and looks down at the flash drive in her hand. It feels warm, alive with potential. In a low voice, audible only to those closest, she says, "Let's make sure this never happens again." Then she raises the drive, scanning the audience. Share these files. Demand transparency. Build a competition where everyone truly stands on equal ground. A choir of voices picks up her call. Transparency, fairness, justice. The chant echoes off the concrete walls, reverberating like a promise. Whitaker's voice cracks over the PA, barely a whisper. This isn't over, but no one listens. Cameras have already panned away, capturing the aftermath, engineers tearing down diagnostics racks, officials swarming the control booths, Sarah Carter high-fiving technicians in the back. Maya walks to the exit ramp spotlight, tracking her every step. The roar of the crowd follows her out as if the entire arena breathes in her triumph. She pauses at the top of the ramp and looks back one last time. The scoreboard now reads, "Exposed," plastered over her record time. She smiles, a fleeting curve of lips that holds years of frustration, inheritance, and unyielding hope. Then she turns, stepping into the darkness beyond the lights. As the exit doors swoosh closed, the arena plunges into a stunned silence, punctuated by the distant hum of bewildered officials. And somewhere in the control room, Sarah Carter leans back in her chair, exhales, and says simply, "We did it." Outside, cameras from competing networks flash against the night sky, each intent on telling the story. They just witnessed an underdog who weaponized honesty and skill to dismantle a fortress of deceit. In that final charged moment, Maya's journey from mocked novice to triumphant crusader is complete. She didn't just outdraw a champion, she outsmarted a corrupt system, proving that when integrity leads the way, justice is more than possible. The arena falls into stunned silence, before erupting again, this time in a wild, unrestrained celebration. Cameras swivel to capture every reaction. First the crowd, thousands of faces lit by the glow of the scoreboard, now plastered with the word "exposed." Fans leap to their feet, some cheering, some crying out in disbelief, others chanting Maya's name in a rhythmic roar that feels like an earthquake. On the shooting line, competitors stand frozen. The hulking ex-Marine removes his ear protection, eyes wide, and offers Maya a firm nod of respect. The corporate heir's jaw hangs slack. He glances at his coach, realization dawning that no amount of money could buy integrity. The Midwest shooter lowers her weapon and slowly applauds, tears glinting in her eyes, acknowledgement of a battle fought with honesty rather than shortcuts. Backstage, Sarah Carter and Tom Evans embrace relief and triumph, mixing in their grin. Technicians huddle around consoles, pointing at scrolling logs and screenshots being shared across every network. One engineer murmurs, "They're already downloading the files worldwide." Sarah leans in and whispers, "This is bigger than any of us imagined." On the big screen, the raw data feed still scrolls, now framed by official seals, as investigators begin to verify the evidence. Legal teams from Whitaker Arms scramble to contain the fallout, but the momentum has already shifted. In the VIP section, sponsors whose logos once dominated the banners now exchange nervous glances. No one wants their name attached to a scandal this public. Maya stands at center stage, breathing heavily, her face flushed with triumph. She raises her hand to quiet the din. The audience obeys, anticipation crackling like static. "You saw the proof," she says, voice steady, but charged with emotion. Today wasn't just about breaking records. It was about shattering a system built on deceit and privilege. We demanded equal ground, and we won. Her words echo through the arena. Flashbulbs pop as journalists fight for the best angle. Social media uploads spike hashtags like Torture Maya Johnson, Fortjørsert Fair Play, and Expose Whittaker trend globally within seconds. Clips of her final shot and the data reveal are shared millions of times in minutes. A commentator off-screen remarks, "She didn't just win a competition, she rewrote the rules." Meanwhile, Colonel Brad Whittaker is escorted to a separate room, his face pale under the harsh fluorescent lights. Officials murmur legal implications, breach of contract fraud investigations, potential charges. Whittaker's voice cracks as he insists, "I never authorized actual tampering. This must be a rogue operation." But the logs bear his signature. No one buys it. In the stands, a young black girl stares up at Maya with wide eyes, clutching her own toy holster. She mouths the word, "hero." Nearby, an older man in a veteran's cap wipes away tears, whispering, "That's how you fight back." Across the arena, a group of teenagers record Maya on their phones, the glow illuminating their inspired faces. As the formal announcement arrives, Maya Johnson officially recognized as champion, and a full inquiry launched. Confetti cannons explode. Streamers rain down in red, white, and blue, a guerrilla celebration of truth. Maya steps forward to collect her new trophy, a sleek, unadorned statuette symbolizing integrity. She lifts it high, and the arena trembles with approval. In the post-match press pit, reporters swarm her podium. Questions fire like hail. How did it feel to reset the system live? What message do you have for young athletes facing bias? Each answer from Maya is calm, deliberate, and resonant. Believe in your skills. Don't let anyone rig your reality. By the time Maya exits the arena, night has fallen over Dallas. News helicopters hover overhead, spotlights tracing her path to the press conference. Outside supporters hold homemade signs. "Justice served Maya for President Fairness first." A local news anchor sums it up. Tonight, a teenager did what no one else dared. She turned a rigged game into a platform for justice. And as Maya steps behind the podium, the flash of cameras illuminating her determined smile. One thing is certain, the world just witnessed more than a world record. It witnessed a movement. You just witnessed more than a competition, you witnessed a revolt against complacency. When a system touted as infallible is exposed as rigged, what choice do we have but to demand accountability? Maya's victory reminds us that true power lies not in unquestioned authority, but in the courage to challenge it. Think about every time you've been told that's just how it is. We've all felt the sting of unfair rules, whether at work, in school, or within society. Maya turned her frustration into action. She didn't rant about injustice, she demonstrated it live in front of millions. That shift from frustration to focused defiance is the spark that ignites real change. Ethically, her actions were not reckless hacking. They were a reclaiming of transparency. When Colonel Whittaker manipulated the data to protect his brand, he weaponized trust. Maya turned that weapon back on him. The lesson: integrity cannot be outsourced to a machine. No algorithm replaces human honesty. But justice isn't served in a single act. It's sustained by community. Notice how the crowd transformed from passive observers to active witnesses, how Sarah Carter and Tom Evans risked everything to stand by Maya. Change requires allies willing to amplify truth even when it's inconvenient. In your own life, ask, where is the code being tweaked behind the scenes, whose interests are served by a facade of fairness? And most importantly, am I prepared to expose the glitch? Because real victory comes when you transform a moment of triumph into a movement for lasting reform. So carry this forward. Whether you're challenging a biased policy at work, calling out misinformation online, or simply refusing to accept half-truths, remember Maya's blueprint document. The injustice, expose it transparently and rally others to your side. Justice isn't a feature you turn on, it's a force you unleash. And every one of us has the power to override the system. This story doesn't end here, it's a call to action. If Maya's fight taught us anything, it's that every one of us can be the glitch in an unjust system. Now it's your turn. Share this video with someone who needs to hear that truth can topple the most fortified lies. Hit subscribe and ring the bell so you're first to witness the next chapter of real-world revolutions. Leave a comment below. What hidden code are you ready to expose? Whether it's a corporate cover-up, a biased policy, or a rumor sweeping social media, your voice can ignite change. Smash the like button if you believe transparency is more powerful than any algorithm. And if you've ever felt silenced or underestimated, know that you're not alone, and that together we can rewrite the rules. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into stories of everyday heroes who challenge the status quo. Until then, stay vigilant, stay curious, and remember, justice isn't served by clicks alone, it's earned by action. Thank you for watching. Now go out there and be the code breaker the world desperately needs.